Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris Flick here. Today we're going to be talking about coming back from an injury. Say you got a little bit of discomfort, right? So for me, I'm going to use my recent little back discomfort as an example for how to put a program together to kind of get back in the game and start to add some intensity back in your physical training, but not doing it too soon where you might run the risk of getting re-injured. So last Wednesday, which is about 10 days ago now, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was 11:40. I was kind of on my side because, of course, our daughter's in between us, sprawled out, taking up the whole bed, right? So I'm like on the edge of the bed, laying probably in the fetal position, all curled up, and my back is incredibly tight. My legs were a little tingly, and all the muscles around my low back, kind of near that, kind of like where my spine and my pelvis kind of meet, they're tight and it's stiff, and I can't really sit up. I can't do anything other than roll out of the bed. And luckily, I was able to land on my feet and not like face plant or anything like that. So I was hurting, and I just went back to bed, and I was like, let's just pretend I'm dreaming right now, and I'm just gonna wake up feeling good. Turns out that that's not what happened. I was beat up for a few days. So my first thought was this: let's give the body 48 to 72 hours to kind of figure out what's going on. Let the inflammation process go through what it has to go through, and then from there we could slowly but surely start incorporating movement into the workout plan. So for 2 or 3 days, I did nothing really. All right. We have a sauna blanket, which is awesome. I laid in that thing. When I would have moments where my muscles were tight, I would take a hot shower, just hang out in that warm environment, or I would go to a sauna and try to let that heat just warm the body up a little bit, loosen up the muscles, and I think it does something. I think it kickstarts the healing process a little bit. It worked for me. It's kind of anecdotal. A little bit of research supports that. Introducing your body to these hot environments are actually very beneficial just for how you're feeling overall. So that was my first order of business. The next thing is in the morning then I would go out our back door. We have a nice sized yard, and I would just do a 20-minute walk. I would put the headphones on. I would be in our fenced in area, and I would just kind of walk circles listening to a book. Once I was able to do 20 minutes, fine. Then I'm like, I'm going to start adding some exercises in. This is how I did it, right? I chose 4 strength exercises that I wanted to do, and then from there I created a little bit of a plan where I would do what I'm going to call a tri-set, meaning 3 exercises in one group. So exercise A was a strength move, exercise B was a mobility move, exercise C was a work capacity move. All right, so for our strength exercises, I wanted to do a push, a pull, something for the front of my legs, okay, and something for the back of my legs, which is often referred to as a squat, and then the backside, a hip hinge, okay? So a push and a pull for the upper body, and basically a push and a pull for the lower body. Now, that was my exercise. That was exercise A. We could put that into a column. Now I wanted to figure out my mobility stuff, right? So depending on where your injury is, I would pick and choose what mobility exercises to do based on where your injuries are, all right? So for me, it was my spine. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to work some mobility in from, the base of my neck here, the upper spine, we'll say, and then start working my way down into that thoracic region, and then all the way down into the low back by doing, a bunch of different moves that involved kind of me nodding my head up and down, me looking over my shoulder one way, looking over my shoulder the other way, just some nice and light, gentle movements while in positions like the cobra position that you might do in yoga, or this 6-point position where you're on your hands and your knees. All right, and then from there your hips are a little bit wide, so you get this pelvic component to it. Your knees are a little bit wider than your hips, so you're getting a stretch in there as you move your spine and your body through these different ranges of motion. All right, so again, not everybody has a back injury, but if you do have a back injury and you want to know what this stuff is, just send me a message and I'll let you know what I did. So anyhow, depending on where your injury is or your discomfort, that is where I would choose. Those are the mobility exercises I would choose. If you got stiff calves, stiff ankles, then you're going to want to do some mobility work to loosen that up. If your shoulders are tight, then you put in some shoulder mobility stuff in there, right? So remember, strength move, then a mobility move. Find that one area that is the most compromised, and then put all your eggs in that basket and try to fix it with all of your mobility moves, okay? And then from there, if you start feeling better and there's another area that's tight, then maybe you could attack that later down the line. But for right now, my focus was getting my back to feel better, so everything focused on that. Lastly, the work capacity component. I wanted to do some exercises that had me do stuff for a distance and time, right? That required me to carry weights around, but that also had a core component to it because that back was a little hurting. So what I would do is I would grab a kettlebell and I would hold it in different positions. The first work capacity thing I did, waiter's walk. Kettlebell is in my arm, extended overhead. I walk for distance in the right side, and then I walk for distance in the left side. The next thing was a rack position, where you hold the kettlebell at your shoulder, at shoulder level. Again, walk for distance each side. Lastly was the suitcase carry, where you walk with good posture, the weight's at your side. Again, walk for a set amount of distance or time, switch sides, walk for a set amount of time or distance. The fourth work capacity exercise I chose was kind of a slow moving bear crawl, right? So it's almost like I'm on hands and knees, except my knees are hovering off the ground an inch or two, right? And then from there, I'm keeping my hips as level as possible, and I was doing a forward crawl, and then I was doing a backwards moving crawl. You have this core component there as you do this exercise, and it's putting your body through this, you're kind of in a constant tension state as you're keeping everything tight, and you try to move for a certain distance, and then you kick it in reverse, and then things get real tricky and difficult, all right? So those were my work capacity moves, right? Again, you do exercise A, then you do B, and then you do C for the amount of sets and reps, and then you would move on to the second group, which would be, again, in that format, A, B, C, right? A is strength, B is mobility, C is work capacity. Now, week one, coming off the injury, coming off the discomfort, coming off the pain, right? I did one set of 25 reps for 3 workouts. All right. Now for workouts 4, 5, and 6, I'm doing 2 sets of 15, right? So 15 plus 15 is 30. You're getting 5 extra reps in there. In that third week now, we're going to do 3 sets of 8, which is going to be 24 total reps. And I'm adding difficulty with each stage, right? As the reps come down, the weight or the challenge, the difficulty is going to be increased. And then in week 4, it's 4 sets of 5. By week 4, I'm hoping I'm back at swinging. I'm back at full gear, basically, right? I'm back to where I was before the discomfort happened. So again, 3 workouts doing 1 set of 25, 3 workouts doing 2 sets of 15, 3 workouts doing 3 sets of 8, 3 workouts doing 4 sets of 5. In that format, A, B, C, right? Strength, mobility, work capacity, and I would always try to keep those light walks in here. If you're feeling like you're not getting enough physical training in, then go for more walks, all right? Get outside a little bit. The weather's starting to get nicer up here in the Northeast. Get out there, enjoy the sun, enjoy the warmth, enjoy nature a little bit here. Take in some sunlight and get your body ready for these warmer climates that are going to be coming up. So, and the beauty about this, man, you see where I'm sitting right now? I do all of this stuff right in my living room. You know, I do it before everybody wakes up, or I do it randomly with like what I'm about to go do right now. I'll do it now while I have a quick 30-40 minute break in the day before my next appointments, all right? If you have questions on how to come back, get back into the weight room from an injury, right? This is that point in time where you might have, if you had to see a doctor or a physical therapist, they already gave you the green light to go, all right? You're in a position to get moving, all right? Follow these ideas, follow these concepts to get your body back to what it used to be, all right? Hope you guys have a great day. See you, everybody.